Alrighty, so today we're looking at chapter 621, or episode 621, I guess, of the story mode of Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross. I don't know if you've played it or not, but yeah, so this one's really tough. You gotta go up against Demon King, and this is the big Demon King fight. He has 350,000 CC. I'll be honest, in my original sort of play through the story, this one didn't give me too many issues. Unlike the previous fight, he is actually not immune to anything too crazy, to be honest. Like, you can still use light or dark characters. He is going to restore, he basically has Overcome Crisis or whatever, or maybe this isn't technically Overcome Crisis, but he's basically going to revive if you get him below 50% HP and you don't kill him, which the only way to do that necessarily is a counter. Because he has a max damage cap of 30%. So, he also has pretty much just a whole bunch of other characters' commandments. A lot of the commandments he just has on here. So he has Melascula's one, where if you don't attack with a character, they gain 2 ignite stacks. He has another one where if you do damage on his turn, I assume from a counter and stuff, it'll give you 1 ignite stack as well. This one blocks skill effects and stuff if they have more than 3 debuffs on. The big thing is he doesn't put on too many debuffs. His attack skills are an infect, which is not too bad, but this one right here, his ultimate is Traitor Meliodas' ultimate, so it's going to decrease your stats as well. So that is an extra debuff, and it's going to cancel stances and buffs, which is kind of annoying. He is immune to all debuffs and everything, so you can't do anything too crazy to him. And another thing right here is that you don't want to attack twice with the same character if possible, because that is going to result in you getting attack stat lowered by 30%, which is pretty hefty. This is the team that I've been able to beat it with without just going full-on brute force. If you want to know what I used originally, I just used light, Ultimate Escanor, and I used the new Roxy to make sure that I could kind of get through the damage caps a bit easier, and I used CC Food to go first. So going first, obviously, is a big win, like game changer on this one, but replaying the story, you cannot actually use food, so I'm going to be doing it without food, and I'm going to be going second using a more free-to-play friendly-ish team. Obviously, some of these characters aren't necessarily like given to you. In the last video that we did on Chapter 620, I did use Meliodas, and obviously he's not necessarily free or anything, and he's pretty old, so the odds of you having him might not be great, but you can use light or dark Meliodas in this one. I highly recommend you do that if possible. If you have Traitor Meli, he's probably the better option here, just so that way you can try and actually, get some buffs on, do big damage with his Amplify card, I don't know, do something. And this Meli, I mean, he's okay, but he's not anything compared to those new dark ones. So we are using Arthur as well. He's not necessarily like a free unit, but he is really good for PvE. If you have any team suggestions, or you beat this with something different, or, something a little bit more niche or anything like that, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. It might help somebody else out who ends up coming across this, because, different people have different things in their boxes. It's not always as cut and dry as just like, just unga bunga big damage, you know what I mean? So if you find this video helpful or anything like that, feel free to subscribe if you're newer to the channel or anything like that. It would mean a lot. We're on the road to 15K at the moment. I don't know. I assume this probably will get looked at in the future as well. So either way, if you're new, feel free to subscribe. I have beat this once. I don't necessarily know how easy it's going to be to beat it again. So we're going to just kind of hope for the best. Luckily, he does actually go for my Meliodas, because we have a full mono green team. Any other set of characters that I would use, he would basically save Meliodas for last, which was really, really annoying. Luckily, he does do a really decent amount of damage to Meli, like straight out of the gate here. He's using a level 2 card, so like I said, there's probably going to be some RNG involved depending on what cards he uses specifically on your characters. Do note that you have he has Zeldris' commandment, so if you need to, make sure that you move a card. It'll get rid of your debuffs and you can heal up or something like that. I did use that in the last run that I used. He got me down pretty low, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to tank the hit, so I just moved a melee card, got rid of the infect, and then did a small heal to try and make sure that I wasn't going to get absolutely one-shot, and instead was going to be able to survive the attack and be able to counter it a little bit. So the fact that he's using a level 2 card, I think I'm going to go ahead and pop the stance here. It might not be the greatest. Like I said, you do want to try to use cards with other characters if possible. so that way they don't get a whole lot of infects on them or anything like that. So I think we're just going to go ahead and use one card from each character here. Depending on how much damage he deals to melee here, is going to result in a better counter from us. So we'll see how much this does. It is like a Pierce card, if I'm not mistaken, so it hits pretty hard. That was not maybe as hard as I was hoping it would be. We got him below 50% HP, so he's going to full heal. He only does that once, so I guess we've got that going for us. We did not pull an extra stance card, unfortunately, so we're going to have to kind of stall for this turn. Luckily, because we have Elizabeth, we can actually get a level 2 heal here, and that will actually purge off our debuffs and heal us. And we can just kind of throw some other cards out to try to hopefully draw another stance card if possible. So he does a lot of damage. I'm not going to lie to you. I do have a pretty decently built up account. I'm at like 11.5 million box CC at the time of recording this. So I've got a bit of extra stats. My characters can tank a little bit better. I do have Nanashi in the back, so that way I can hopefully tank with his buffs on. Arthur is obviously helping tank as well. I can't find a really good counter to Arthur, to be honest. I think realistically, ooh, this is a really bad scenario here, actually. He's gonna ult me, which is gonna remove the stance, so we need to save the stance this turn. What I'm gonna do is move this and then ult with Elizabeth, so that way I can try to heal him up to full. That way I hopefully don't lose him, and then we're just gonna play for card space, I think. So like I said, I do have quite a bit of extra stats. You might not be able to tank this stage quite as well as I can, so that is also a factor. There's not really anything I could do to help you with that, to be honest. Like, you could use the exact same team I'm using, but with lower box CC and get a completely different result. So, unfortunately, that's just kind of the way that the game is designed. Not great, of course, but you just kind of have to take the punches, you know, as you can. But this is... yeah, he's going to kill my melee off here. Unfortunately, I think this run is pretty much dead at this point, because without melee counter, I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage here. I could potentially try to go for like an ultimate with Arthur. I don't really think it's going to do too much damage, if I'm being completely honest, so we can just kind of throw some of these cards out. I don't have any way to take off ultimates or anything with this team either, besides Nanashi's buff. Like, he can attack into my Nanashi buff and lose ultimate, but he can still gain it pretty easily, because the deplete only works once. So we'll see how much this ult does. If it doesn't do too much, I'll reset, and I'll try to show you like a better run, just to show you that it can be done, of course, because I have already beat it once, but like I said, a lot of RNG involved here. This one's really stupid because he has so high CC, so there's not really a whole lot I can do to combat that for you. So yeah, let's oh, that's actually going to get rid of my ultimate because of the Zelda's commandment, so we're just going to throw these cards out instead. How much is this going to do? I mean, it does good number, but his health is so high that it's not great, of course. I think the melee counter is going to help a lot there. Obviously, if you have Trader Meliodas on the team, you can just continue to use single target attacks and stuff like that, build up your damage reduction stacks, and it should work out a little bit better for you. But let me reset. We're going to try to get a good, you know, counter attack with green melee here. Okay, so I'm going to attempt this one. I think I've got a pretty decent run going. My health is a little low, which is very concerning to me. But the lower my HP goes, if you have an actual melee attack, it works out really, really nicely, because you just get extra crit chance and everything to do more damage. So I'm going to use that. I think I'm going to move a card to get rid of... oh, it works before the stat reduction. He's using a level 2 as well, which I just don't necessarily think I can tank without the Nanashi buffs on. So we might end up just having to get rid of it regardless. I think I might end up lifestealing too much here, because I have quite a bit of lifesteal from Liz's Holy Relic, unfortunately. So, this is not necessarily an ideal situation, and I think if I end up waiting till next turn, he's going to get his ultimate. So we're going to go ahead and use it. It is what it is. Hopefully we don't lifesteal too much back. A decent amount. Hopefully this level 2 actually deals pretty good damage overall. So boom. Ooh, it did really nice. And then bam. 1 million damage, actually. That worked out surprisingly well. It did take me three forfeits in between this one, so obviously not super consistent. can be done, might not be ideal, but if you don't have super OP characters or anything like that to use, this could be a halfway decent option for you. Obviously, some of these characters are kind of old. If you're newer to the game, or you just only work on like super overpowered characters, you know, you haven't leveled these characters up, it could potentially be an issue there. But overall, you know, this is pretty much all I could come up with. Hopefully somebody has left a, you know, comment down in the, you know, the description below with some sort of team that could hopefully help you out. So feel free to look down there, and I don't know, we'll see how many people contribute to sort of giving extra team ideas, but that is pretty much it for me. Hopefully this helped you out, and if it did, feel free to subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys later on. Let me know if there's anything else I can kind of help you with. If you need any extra info on my teams or anything like that, feel free to ask, but yeah, I will see you guys later on.